Hello everyone, good morning. How are you? Okay, let's start. So we have done till operators, right? Different operators that are there in the Python. Now we are going to move ahead into the next part of the Python that are called as the data types, right? So before the last session, I have explained what exactly data types are. So can anyone help me recall or can tell me what are data types? What are data types in Python? Different data types, right? There are two different types. One is numeric and second one is the classification. In numeric, what we have int, float, and complex. In classification, we have five types. One is string, one is list, one is tuple, one is dictionary, and one is set. Right. So let's see. And then those all eight data types, right, are classified into four more categories. Okay, let's copy it, let's paste it here. All right, so let's start. So today is weekday. What is date? Oh, today is April Fool, 2024. All right, so let's start. Call as a data types, right? So first we are going to see, and then they are classified into two separate sections. What is mutable and unmutable, right? So what is sorry, not unmutable, immutable. One is mutable and one is immutable. So what is mutable? Mutable means changeable, and immutable means what? Non-changeable, right? So let's see for eight different data types and which of them are mutable and which of them are immutable. So first we'll go with the numeric one. So numeric, right? And then in that first we are going to learn is integer, right? So now need to remember integer is an immutable data type. Now why we are talking about immutable is unchangeable, because see, when I say a is equals to 10, right? So when I say a is equal to 10, if I want to replace this 10 with some other values, do you think that do we have any another value to which is a substitute 10? Now what I mean by substitute 10 means what? Now suppose we are talking about your name, right? So maybe your name is Bhanashri, your name is Chandu, but you also have a nickname to yourself, right? That means what is a substitute? So if people do not feel to call your name, so they'll call you with some another name. Maybe they'll say Bhanu, they'll say Chans, they'll say something. I don't know what name you have, right? So that is like a substitute. But you look at this value called as a 10, you go to any corner of the world, do you have any another value for 10? No. 10 is 10 all across the globe. So that is why it is called an immutable. Immutable means what? Unchangeable, that we cannot change, right? If there was a substitute for 10, then we could have replaced for 10. So remember all the numeric data type, right? All the numeric data type, that is integer, float, complex, they are going to be immutable data type because we don't have any another substitute value for that numbers, right? So this is immutable. Second, when you talk about a float also. Now suppose when I say float, right, and I say variable 1 is equals to, and I say 39.6, right? So you go to any corner of the world, value of 39.6 is going to be 39.6 only. Do you have any other substitute? No, we don't have any other substitute. Let me put it in the comment how you put it in your comment multi-line this way, right? And when I say print a, so I get a. Okay. Similarly here also. Oh, okay, a is equals to 10 and variable 1 is equals to 39.6. Right, if you call it as minus, so minus 39.6. Clear? And also with the complex number. So when I say variable 2 is equals to 3.7j, sorry, 3 plus 7j, where the iota is universally minus 1. So when you say variable 2, because see, you cannot replace these values. 1 is 1, 2 is 2, 3 is 3, right? So that is why this is an immutable. So all the numbers are immutable. Now moving ahead to the next part, that is the classification plus classification. Right, in the classification we are going to learn first one is str, that is called as a string. Right, so let's see what is the string. Clear till here? It is clear. All the data type of numbers are immutable. That means what? They are not changeable. Now we are going to learn string. Now string is what? String is a collection or a sequence of character, right? Or a collection of characters. So when you, and how do you identify it's a string? You put it into the quotes. So I'll say like variable underscore one, right, is equals to, and I say a, right? So it's a single character. So when it's a single character, what you need to do is that you need to put it into the single quotes. And then when you say variable underscore two is equals to, when you say sequence of characters, that multiple characters, right, plural, that more than one, so you put it into the double quotes, right? Just I told you why, because if you want to have a word like this way, what's up, right? So see, if you had put it into the single quotes, see, if you had put it into the single quotes, what will happen? Your Python will understand, okay, this is the starting point, okay, this is the starting point, but this is the end point, it will think this is the end point. So now the question arises, what about this remaining part, right? So to avoid that thing, what you need to do is that you need to put it into the double quotes, right? As soon as I put it into the double quotes, what will happen? That error will be gone. See, now it is considering as a one word, so it will be a lot of things like not just one word. What's up, like how's it going, right? How is it going, right? How's it going? See, look at it. So you need to put it into the double quotes. Clear? Now, first thing, string is an immutable data type. It's an immutable data data type, and it has indexes. It has indexes. Now, indexes is what? Every single letter, right? This is single letter, right? And here H is single letter, O is single letter, W is single letter, apostrophe single letter, S is single letter. So that means what? Every single letter has an index associated with. Index means what? A number associated with. And in computer, the number starts with in computer language, the number starts with number zero. So initially the value will be always zero. So this is A is at zero. So this H is at zero. This O is at one. W is at two. So and so forth. So this way indexing is done. So remember, indexing always starts with number zero. Clear? Clear till here, right? And now when I print variable one, when I print variable one, and then I print variable 2, so I get that variable 1 and variable 2. A, how is it going? Now let's see, right? Now let's see like what are the built-in functions that string provides us, right? In integer you cannot do any other they don't have any predefined function. Predefined means what? System generated, or predefined means built-in function, because numbers are mostly used for the arithmetic operations, or instead of we are calling it as arithmetic, whatever that we have learned, right? Different operators, right? 8 different operators. So you can say numbers can be used for those all 6 categories of operations, right? Starting from arithmetic operation, ending with the identity operator. But talking about the string, list, tuple, whatever comes into the classification criteria, so that has some predefined function, right? So now we have checked how do you write a string. So how do you write a string? With the help of single quote and double quote. Now let's see one by one function that what string does. The first thing, and remember, a string is an immutable. Immutable means what? Unchangeable. Unchangeable. Why? Because see, we have only 26 characters in the alphabet, right? Alphabet or characters or letters in English language, A to Z. So when you talk about A, right, wherever you go in this world, A is A only, B is B, C is C, D is D. So that means what? If I want to replace this A with another value, I don't have any substitute value for A. Similarly, when I was talking about the numbers, if I talk about 20 or 100, we don't have any other replacement with that value. So that is why this string is also immutable. So once you write immutable is what, once you write this value, right, this value, you cannot change it. Now changing is what I'll tell you. So as it has indexing, right, it has indexing. That means what, H is at 0th position, O is at 1st position, etc. Right? So every single letter means what? A single value has a has its own roll number, kind of a thing, we can say roll number, right? So now when I say, see, variable, what is that variable? Variable 2 I'll take, right? So I'll write variable 2. So this, we are learning indexing and slicing. We are learning indexing and slicing. So this is called as indexing and slicing. What is indexing and slicing? I'll tell you. So I'll take variable name, variable underscore 2 of, right? We have all index number associated with all the letters, right? And index number starts with 0 in computer. So when I say index variable 2 of 0, and when I run it, see, I got H, right? I got H. Now in the similar fashion, right, I'll put it into the print now. I'll put it into the print, right? Copy, and I'll say, now instead of 0, I'll say 1, right? I'll say 1. So what I'll get output? O, right? See, H, 0 is H, 1 is O. In the similar fashion, if I say 2, 2, what will be the output? W. Similar fashion, when I say 3, so what I'll get to get is apostrophe. Yes, this is apostrophe. See, 0 is H, O is 1, W is 2, and apostrophe is 3. Now the point here is that, as I am talking about unchangeable, immutable. Now immutable means what? Now I want to change the values, right? Suppose how? Now variable of 0. So what is variable of 0? So variable underscore 2, right? That is the variable name. So what is that variable? This whatever, what is that 0th position? H. Now if I want to replace this H with some another value, now suppose I want to replace this H with Z, right? I want to replace with Z. So how do you do that? See, this is how we do the replacement. Whatever the variable name is, so variable number is variable 2. Whatever the position is, so position is this, we want to replace H, right? So it is at 0. And right hand side, we know that right hand side are always the value. So I want to replace that variable with index number 0. So what is in the variable? This variable, which is index number, this 0 as H, right? So I want to replace that H with Z. And if I run it, see what it goes. It throws an error. See, it is underlining and it is saying type error. String object. See, this is a string, right? Because it's into the quote. So string object doesn't support item assignment. Does not support item assignments. What? You cannot change the items once you initialize. Now there is a difference between defining and initializing. Defining is what? So this is called as defining. So when you write a variable, whatever you write, suppose I call as a, or you call as a b, or you call as a c, this is called as a defining of a variable or a declaration of a variable. And when you assign a value, so when you assign a value, that is called as an initialization of variable. What is called? Initialization. Once again, I repeat, when you just write a variable name, that is called the defining of variable. And when you assign a value to it, so this is called an initialization of variable. So that is what it is saying. Does not support item assignment. Does not support item assignment means what? When you initialize a variable. Initialize means what? When you assign a value to the variable. So after that, it does not support item assignment. So once you have written a value, you have given a value to a variable, after that you cannot change the value. In which case? In string case. Similarly, in the numbers are all immutable. You cannot change the values. Clear? Got it? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Till here it is
Yes.
clear?
Yeah.
Ah, what is that? What string? First thing what it does is that it does immutable. So now this concept of immutable is clear. Now we are coming to this indexing and slicing. So first we'll talk about indexing. Indexing means what? When you want to fetch, I repeat my words, when you want to fetch one single characters or letters, so you would do with the help of indexing. So indexing is done how? This is how you do the indexing. When you just pass on a single index number in it, so it returns. So look at the return type also, so it gets only one value as a result. So this is called an indexing. So why it is used? When you want to fetch only one elements from it, H, W, O, etc. So that is done with the help of indexing. How do you write the syntax? you use that variable name. So what is the variable name here? Variable 2, and then off, we call as off, that square bracket is called as off. So variable 2 off, and then a single index number. So index number starts with 0. So when you're talking, this is called the DSA, data structure analysis. So in data structure architecture, so in data structure analysis architecture, when used the array, there is a concept of an array. So array starts with 0. This supports the concept of array. So array is nothing but a collection of similar data types, right? Similar data types means what? This is all string, this is all numbers, right? So that is what's similar, homogeneous. And heterogeneous means what? Different data type, right? So array is a collection of homogeneous data type. So and an array starts with 0. So we'll not go into that concept, that will be very confusing for you, so I'll not mix that thing. So what we are trying to do is that indexing. So indexing means what? When you want to fetch a single value from the string, you do with the help of indexing, right? So how do you do that? Variable name, then off, and then whatever the index you want, right? But remember, when you are trying from left to right, see, right over here. So I'll delete this part. So when you are doing indexing or slicing, whatever, when you are doing it from left to right, when array is from left right, right? This is an array, right? Because it's a collection, right? So left right from this side of the screen, left right. So an array, well, I'll call it as array one later. We're learning computers, we are computer language, so we'll use some computer technical terms. So when array is from left to right, left to right, right. So I'll say also show symbol. So this means what? This way, left to right. Then indexing, right? Then indexing starts from 0, from 0. Just remember this thing, 0, and then it goes till n. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Space is also included. Space. See, if I print instead of 3, if I say 5, let's pick out first 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. When I say 5, see, H is printed because it is 0, 1 is printed, W is printed because it is at, O is printed because it has 1, W is printed at which is 2. But look at 5, fifth, that there should be 4 output. 4, fifth is there. See here the space is there. When I double click it, see it's a blue one. That means what? The space is there. But I don't know how to be show a space. Space is space, right? So you cannot see space. So space is there. So space is also considered as a character. So you should remember, you cannot say that space will not be counted. Space will also be counted. Okay. So remember, when array is from left to right, so then indexing starts from 0. Okay. So I'll write this part here in the indexing. And the similar when the array is from right to left, right to left. I'll keep this way only. I'll not change this way. So right, this is right side. Right to left, then indexing starts with or starts from -1. That means what? When you're counting from this side, this is the right side. It will always start with -1. So I'll show you how. So I'll comment this part, right? And I'll take this part and I'll print here. And now see. So now I'll just, okay. So now as I said 0, so I'll say -1, right? From my right side we start with -1. So when I say -1, so what is the at -1? Question mark, right? So when I run it, so I should get question mark. Say I got question mark because it is at starting point, right? If I had said 0, so it's 0 means what? It will start from left side. It will start from left side. That is actually with output. right? So when you're talking from left to right, so it should start from 0 and should go in an incremental order, right? From 0 we say 0, 1, 2, 3, positive around the plus x-axis, and when you're going to the right to the left, so you should go around the minus x-axis, minus 1, minus 2, minus 3. So when I say 10, right, so let's see if we do have any value at 10. So it is there, O is there. So if you want to count, you can do that. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, spaces 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. See, O is at 10. Similarly, when I say minus 7, right? So let's see what is that minus 7. So space is there, see. So let's count it. So minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4, minus 5, minus 6, minus 7. So minus 7 was the space. So if I make it 8, so I get minus 8, not 8, minus 8, so you get t. Clear? So similar fashion you can do that. So if you want minus 10, minus 12, minus 5. So if you run it, you get index and say t space, what is that? Run, what is this called as? A single quote, and then O. So this is called as an indexing. Clear till here? Yes or no? And now we'll move to the important next part of this called as a slicing. What is this called as? Slicing. Now see, when you try to do right pass an element, we got a single value. Now if you want to have a subset of it, subset means what? I need to have this house, right? Or maybe I want to have this it, or maybe I want to have going, or maybe still whatever, a specific value, right? I don't want a single element now. This is an element, right? A single element. I want a multiple element. That means what? I want a particular a subset, right? That is still here I want. So how do you do that? That is done with the help of slicing. But remember the same concept in array: left to right positive and right to left negative, right? From left to right it starts with 0 to n, and from right to left it starts from minus 1 to minus n, right? N is the last value of here, from 0 to n, positive n, right? Minus 1. So slicing. So the same say for die is the same. So variable underscore 2. And how do you write it, right? So maybe if the starting point is always 0, right? So starting point is 0. So if I say 0, and how do you want to do it? I want to go till number 5, right? So this is what. And remember this last point, whatever the last value you're writing, it's excluded. Excluded means what? It's not included. So you'll understand when you run this piece of code. So see, remember when I say excluded, so it will go from 0 to 4. So let's we call that value here. So I'll say variable underscore 2. Instead of going always up, so I'll call that value. So variable underscore. So let's see how it is going, right? This is where the starting point is 0. So it is 0. So let's count from here: 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. See, fifth is a space, right? Fifth is a space, but it didn't include space. Why? Because remember in slicing, one value is always less. So see, I'll say if I say 8, right? So if I say 8, so let's count from 0 to 8. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, right? So it should include space also. Maybe if I make it 9, if I make it 9, it should print till G, right? It should print till G. But say it will print till that space. So how is it? And there here's a space. If I double click, see there is a space, right? And if I say from 9, and if I make it 9, 10, 11, right? So if I make it 11, so it should print till I. It should print till I. But see, it will print till O. It will print till O. See, one value less. If you want to count, you can count. See, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, space is 5, 6, 7, and then space is 8, 9, 10. So remember when you're talking about slicing, so slicing is what? Slicing is what? Fetching that values till to that number. See, indexing is fetching only one element, but so when you talk about slicing, slicing is fetching a subset of that entire set, right? This is a subset, right? Because this is an entire set. How is it going? Is an entire set. We're trying to fetch this particular small part. So it's like when you are eating a cake, right? When you're eating a cake, you don't eat that entire cake, right? You don't put that entire cake in your mouth. Well, instead of that, what you do is that you cut that cake into the slices, right? And you eat that slices. So slices means what? It's a small portion of that entire cake. So similarly, slicing here also is a small portion of that entire portion. Got it? So you can do that in the similar fashion. If I copy this part and I paste it, right? If I copy this part and if I paste it over here, right? Instead of 0 to 1, if I say, right, 3 to 12, right? So it will go till 11. So let's see what is a 3. So 0, 1, 2, 3. It is FS trophy. See, FS trophy. It will start with FS trophy. If I comment this part, above part, see the starting point is 3 now. So it will go from FS trophy until where it will go? It will go till 11. One value is less. So if I count, so 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So it will print till I. So see what happens when you talk about slicing. Slicing is fetching a small portion of that entire portion. It's like eating a piece of cake instead of that from that entire whole cake. Got it? So when you talk of from the left to right, it is in increasing order, and similar fashion when you talk about right to left, right? So let me comment this part. So when you say right to left, right? So right to left is from -1. So if you do not set, if you do not pass anything, see if you do not pass anything in it, so what will happen by default? See, Python is an intelligent language. It's very smart. So when you don't pass anything, this is a colon. This is separated between the colon. When you don't pass anything, by default it will understand. Okay, the starting point is 0. As I said, in computer everything starts with 0. Starts with 0. So it will consider okay the starting point is 0. When you don't pass an argument or you don't pass a value, so it will consider starting point as 0 and end point. It will go till whatever the value it will find. So when you run it, still it will not throw an error. See, it will print entire set. Instead of printing the subset, it will printing an entire set, right? Why? Because you didn't tell the starting point and you didn't tell the end point. Now, suppose if you don't tell starting point, it is okay. It is going to consider 0. But if I say till 8, right? Or if I say till 7, see, now it will start from 0 and it will go till 6. See, how's space I? Got it? So if it's not necessary, you have to pass starting point. So by default it is 0, and when you pass endpoint, so it will go till endpoint. Similarly, vice versa. So if you pass a starting point, maybe if I say 7, and if you don't pass endpoint, so it will start from 7 and it will go till last one. See, it starts from the particular 7. If you want to count, you can count that. So it is 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. See, it starts from, let me count once again. So 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yes, it will start from T, and as we have not given the end point, so end point will be the last value, whatever the last value will be there. Clear? Similarly, when we are talking about the negative, so negative will start from minus. So when I say minus, all right, and we start with from -1, we cannot have 0, right? It starts from -1. So -1, and you need to go in minus order only. So -1 to -4. So when I say -4, it will be till -3, right? So it is -1 is this one, question mark. So -1, -2, -3. So one value is always less. Let's remember in slicing, the end point, starting point is always included, but the end point is always n-1, right? N-1 means what? One value is always less. So if it is 11, it will go to 10. If it is 12, it will go to 11. If it is nothing, then it will take all the values. So see, it will print till n. So remember what we are talking about. See, we are talking about -1 to -4, right? So we are going in this order, so it is not printing. So we need to write -4 till -1. See, you cannot write this way, -1, and then going in this way, you cannot do that. You need to find from where you want to go. So here you need to give, this is a minimum value, right? See, we have learned, I'll show you. So when you're talking about 0, right? So 0. So here is 1, sorry. Here is 2, here is 3, here is 4, right? So our high minimum value is this one, right? This is a minimum value, and 4 is a maximum value. But when you talk about negative value, right? -1, -2, -3, and -4. You tell me in this case, when you're talking about a negative, which is a minimum value? Which is a minimum value? Which is a minimum value?
-4.
Right, this is a -4, right? So see, look at here. Till now, what we were doing is that in the starting point, we are always passing a minimum value, right? Minimum value. So similarly, here also, how can the syntax get changed, right? So here also, first thing we need to pass is a minimum value. So when you talk about my negative, right? Negative, whatever the values goes in this way, right? That are the minimum value, and which goes towards the zero, that are the maximum value. So we, if you write -1, -4, it will not print anything. It will not print anything. If I comment this part just for a while. And if I run it, so you'll not get an output. See, nothing is going to get. But why? Because -1 is the maximum value. So first we need to pass a minimum value. So when I say -4 and then I have to say -1, so -4 is a minimum value, right? So it's a minimum value. -1 is maximum. So when I run it, so if I comment this part and I run it, so I'll get ing. So ing and one value less, right? So it will start from -4. So -1 has to minus the -4. So it starts from -1 as what minus I. It starts from I and it will go till G. Got it? So similar fashion, if I print, if I say -6, and if I say -2, so it will go through -3 only. See, it goes from -3. So let's count -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6. So it will start from G as -6, -5, -4, -3, and -2 it was there. So it will go till 3 only. So it will print GOIN. So it will print GOIN. See, it will print GOIN. Got it? Similar fashion, if you do not, if you just pass uh you do not pass a starting point and you just say end point, so look at it. So it will start from previous value. See, it will start from previous value. That is how. And see, question was not printed. Question was not printed. Reason why? Because we said -1. So this is at -1. So one value always less. We told you. Even it's an increasing order or it's an if it is a positive manner or it is a negative manner, one value is always less. Clear till here? Yes or no?
Yes,
Okay.
clear.
So I just want to know from your side, what are your working hours for today? You work, right,
Three
Bhanushri?
thirty.
You work
Yeah, 3:30 to 12:30.
at night. Okay, it's in the second shift,
Yeah,
3:30 to 12.
yeah.
Okay, Chandu.
I don't have any music right now.
Okay. So today I have an appointment with doctor at 9 o'clock, so I have to leave 3:30. So maybe it will not be possible for you at the 6 o'clock, right, in the evening, for 1 day or 2 day, right?
I'll try to join.
Okay, so what we'll do is that not a problem. So tomorrow, can we have instead of 8 o'clock, can we have at 7:45
Yeah, sure.
for a day
Sure.
or two? Because
Okay.
I had an accident few days ago, so I have an appointment. So I maybe a day today or tomorrow that I might have to go through the treatment. So that is what I have in the morning only. So for we need to have wind up today here at this point only. So you try to practice what we have learned, indexing and slicing, and tomorrow, and it's matter of tomorrow, maybe maximum day after tomorrow. So 2 days we'll have at 7:45, 7:45 to 8:45. Is that okay? Instead of 8 to 9, we'll have at 7:45.
Yeah,
Is that okay?
yeah,
Yeah, it's okay.
Yes, okay. And from Wednesday, if we want, we'll have an extension like from 8 to 9 it was there. We'll try to cover up at till 9:15 or 9:30. Okay. All right. So today we'll stop here. So you try to practice what you have learned, right? So what is indexing and what is slicing, right, with the variables and values, and then we'll start tomorrow at 7:45, right? So please be there at 7:45. Okay. I'm sorry we have to leave, but we have to be there by 9 o'clock. Okay. So let's catch up tomorrow at 7:45. Okay. So till then, bye bye. Take care and have a good day ahead. Bye bye, everyone.